The Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast is dedicated to all things Horus Heresy. This podcast delves into the grimdark universe where Primarchs clash, legions rise, and loyalties fracture faster than a Land Raider's track. But it's not just about the lore of the Horus Heresy. The Accountabilibuddies also explore the gaming side of things, from painting and modeling tips to product reviews and ideas to help you in your hobby. So, whether you're a seasoned Forge World veteran or a fresh-faced scout, this podcast is your Vox channel to the galaxy. Expect discussions on lore, modeling, gaming, and maybe even the shenanigans that your hosts somehow seem to find their way into. Remember, in the grim darkness of the far future, there are only two things you can count on: heresy and your trusty Accountabilibuddies.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 73 of the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. Tonight am one of your hosts. I'm Duncan, and with me tonight are my co-hosts,
Dan,
Jack,
Jamie,
and John.
And tonight we also have a special guest on with us,
Blake.
And we got some pretty good hobby stuff to talk about tonight. We got some pretty good stuff coming up, and we are really excited to get to you all, to everyone who's out there listening to us in podcast land. But before we get to everything we normally will get to, I'll go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsors.
Do you love resin bases? Then go to our sponsor, Elric Hobbies, for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HeresyABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HeresyABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HeresyABB at checkout.
All right, and with that shout out done, sounds to me like we need a quick hobby update. This tradition. Why don't you go ahead and start us off?
Yeah, so I realized that I needed to get painting for Adepticon, so I made sure that everything that I'd primed earlier for my Cobra Militia got all of their blue highlights for all the troopers. I'm going a little overboard. I only need 6 sergeants, but I'm going ahead and do 10 because I figure I'm going to break the squads up and even any more if I want. I'm also doing Storm Shadow as an Eversur, and then I decided to go ahead and dry brush the highlights on some Crimson Guard, as well as some of the highlights on the Custody that I'm doing for a friend at Adepticon. So I've been actually painting some stuff, and so hopefully this week I can get all the straps down and then start doing some of the medals and some of the other highlights and things and flesh as we move towards Adepticon next or week after next.
Sounds
How about Dan? What have you been doing?
So, I think last week I was finishing, or maybe I just finished building the Thuradeo Dread. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I had a Gilliman that I didn't know where his head was. I searched down and found his head. I put base colors on the Thuradeo and Gilliman's body and his cloak today with the airbrush. I've been slowly going through and putting back together all of my units that got tossed onto the floor. I have one tactical unit that has about 4 people left to repair and a couple of axe heads put back on legatine axis that snapped. And then I just need to sitting right now working on Gilliman's face and head, and just need to get these 2 models ready and everything else at least put back together, and then see what else I can get done as far as trying to finish out some of the old stuff. I will say that this has gotten me motivated. I basically have taken the past year off hobbying, give or take, and I'm really happy to be back at it. It is really getting me calm again, and feeling good about it. So I'm pretty happy to be back at it and expect to see more progress in the future, not just for Adepticon. So next we'll move to Duncan.
Ooh. Well, let's see here. I have finished the 2 Dreadnoughts. The 2 Contemptors are 100% done. I have finished the last squad of Angel's Tears bases, got them all sealed, weathered, deckled, and put on bases. Their bases done. Put them away. I have completed the 2nd character, put him on his base, got him sealed, got him weathered, put him away. I've completed the Angel's Tears, got them sealed, got them decaled, got them weathered, got them put on their flight stands that connect to their bases. Had to seal the flight stands bases separately from the stand before I put the stands on them, because otherwise I was 100% certain that the stands were going to break or frost and look bad. So I got the stands on there second. Then I discovered exactly how much of a pain in the ass it is to put the flight stands on Dawnbreakers. And I'm going to take a moment just to say this to anyone else out there who is building a Blood Angels army and who has not yet built Dawnbreakers. If you have them, I'm sorry. You will be much better off if you can find another set of legs and torsos and just convert your own using the shoulders, heads, arms, and backpacks. Because the small, tiny little plastic nub that the flight stand connects to at the underside of the backpack, it constantly wants to break. It constantly wants to shift. It constantly wants to drop a miniature off there, even after they've been put a small bit of rod into it, a small bit of glue into it. It's a nightmare. This is probably the single worst connection piece I've seen for miniatures ever.
So what I did for those, Duncan, is if you go to the Magnet Baron,
Yeah,
they have the round flying magnet bases.
Yeah.
So I put the round piece there at that junction point where you're talking about in the backpack.
Yep.
And then everything, they just magnetize off of there.
That's a marvelous idea, Dan, and I wish I'd had that idea in time to order the stuff before Adepticon.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
I had not looked to see how bad this was. I was just like, oh, I'm going to attach this into the little socket on there, and it'll be just fine.
Yeah.
They use the new flight stands, right?
Yeah, they use the curved
The
ones.
curved ones from the Primaris.
I think you'd be better off doing what I do for all my flying stuff and replace it with thick brass wire.
Yeah, so I would think that, except, no, it's still just a nightmare. And if I thought to do that before I got to this point, that would have been a marvelous idea, and I could have done that. There are so many things I could have done that I didn't, because I didn't realize how bad it was going to be and how little time I would have left before Adepticon. So instead, we have the plastic flight stands as GW intends, and they are terrible. So they're done. I've already broken 5 of them. I've already reattached 5 of them. I broke 2 more after I reattached them. I reattached those, and right now they're sitting on the shelf. I've got a special bit of foam that's designed just to keep each one of them as safe as possible and away from the others, so there's no possibility of a screw up or them breaking or anything else. And right now, my entire intention is to hope and pray that this works. And that when I get to Adepticon, they're not all just broken into a dozen pieces on those flight stands. Because if that's what happens, I'm going to take an entire bottle of glue and I'm going to take a pile of toothpicks with me. And if I have to reattach them with toothpicks or, I don't know, chopsticks, I really don't know or care at this point. I'm going to get them fixed. And I'm never going to use those plastic flight stands again. Because that has been singularly a nightmare. Now that my rant's over, other than that, right now I'm sitting here working on additional stuff that I could take to Adepticon if I want for the Blood Angels. And don't mind me if you hear me cursing and muttering under my breath. I'm currently building 9 jet bikes. So we'll see if I need them for Adepticon or not. But my Adepticon 3K, 1.5K, and 4K are actually all done. So let's kick it over to Jamie. Jamie, what have you done?
So I'll keep it short and sweet. 3D printed some stuff for our friend Ned that he needed rushed to him before Adepticon. I literally finished weathering and matting everything in my entire army that I have ready for Adepticon, and finished the intercessors and librarian, a praetor, and a standard bearer, and I started working on 3 new saber tanks, and started working on the 2 contemptors and a Dorado dreadnought. So I actually got a decent amount done this week, even though soccer season's going.
Good for you, brother.
Anybody else?
Well, Jack hasn't gone.
I was hoping you forgot about me. I'm not going to lie.
How could any of us ever forget about you, Jack?
Very easily. But, pretty sure last show I said my team army for Adepticon's done. That's still done. It hasn't became undone.
Yay!
And this weekend has been printing stuff for display board for Adepticon, for the wall on Terra. I was going to be really ambitious and do all this stuff. Change the resolution, the print size on my printer so that I could, knock this stuff out, quickly. Went from a 0.05 to, I've been cranking stuff out at a 0.15 at this point since it's all just terrain. Getting the, print times down to, a couple hours here, a couple hours there. But turns out that this stuff apparently was designed to be able to park your truck on. It's so dense. I really didn't look that far ahead when it came to resin usage. 2 wall blocks equal 1 bottle of resin, so that kind of changed my outlook on everything I'm printing for it. So now it's going to be just a kind of wall, not a Imperial Fist wall, just a wall. Just a meh wall. But it will still look good, hopefully, after I get it all painted and all that good stuff, and weather, and at least the tower on it will be probably 3 feet tall, 2 feet tall, so it will stick out. And, I'm gonna try to find some doodads and stuff to make it stand out. Use some technology, that type of thing. What about you, Bama? What have you been doing?
So Jamie actually 3D printed me some Lightning Claw / Raven Talons, and I took some of those and I made a command squad for Aethon Solak of my Raven Guard, and I finished those up and got bolters on them and everything, so they're mag locked. And then the last thing I've got going on is I got a 10-man last cannon team that I got to get painted and based, and army's ready for Adepticon. That's it.
Think you'll have it done ready for Adepticon?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's so, painting black is very easy, and it's I don't have to do a ton. I got to put my transfers on and basing. I've got everything down to art, so it should be done within the next 2 days, as long as Papa Nurgle don't come back.
All right. Well, at that point, guys, I think we're done with all our hobby chat of what we've been working on. I'm glad to see everyone's on track for Adepticon. This is making me happy. So, John, what have we got released this week from GW and everything else that's semi-GW like?
Yeah, thanks, Duncan. So this week, the Squinty Boy himself, Shadrach Medusan, was previewed in our Thursday article. There's a lot I like about this figure, I'm going to say. The pose is really cool. The fact he's actually aiming. Some of the quibbles I have are minor. The fact I've always kind of quibbled about GW bolt size. Literally, the bolters and the bolts in the bolt gun are kind of odd. It looks like he's maybe got 5 rounds in there with how big they're sculpted. And then the frag and crack grenades on his belt almost are the size of flamer tanks. But other than that, I think he's a really great sculpt. I like the fact that they GW has always had this thing where they fold the cape over on their models that are walking forward. And on this one, it actually makes sense since they put all the little mechanical doodads coming off his backpack in that fold. So it looks like it's weighting that down a lot. And a lot of the other, like, little minor things, like this guy is in a Mark II plate, judging by the chest and everything. And he's got the bigger greaves on his shoulder pads. He's got the more advanced, or the more sculpted up backpack. Like, there's a lot to like on this figure.
I really like that backpack and that servo arm. I can see that silver arm
fold it
being
up.
used. I can see that silver arm being used for a lot of different builds on a lot of different armies. Iron Warriors, especially for Warsmiths. I like darn near everything on this guy. I think he's really an awesome sculpt. Not super huge on the face, but everything else, spot on. Great done.
Yeah, I think the problem with the squinting eyes, it's going to be really weird when you get it, because that's going to be a part that's going to break down real fast on the way that Forge World makes their molds.
Yeah,
I think you're going to have.
That does concern me. I wonder if it's going to come with a regular helmeted head as well. I'm not sure. Hope it does.
Almost every one of the new ones has come with two heads, so a helmet and a bear. So
yeah, I'm really hoping it comes with a helmet because I want to see what kind of helmet they give him. But
there was a really funny meme that I sent to the group where someone had like photoshopped him holding a rose instead of a bolter, and he's like giving it to his girl and winking at her. I thought that was hilarious.
Okay. What else we got, John?
That's pretty much it on the GW side. We're really lacking this week. So the pre-orders that are going up next week are going to be all Kroot. So if you want to do that Kroot Militia Army we kind of touched on last time, you can definitely look that way. As far as things that specifically dropped this week.
Is it the Solar Ox this week or next week?
Next week is going to be the Solar Ox. Then I called the Citadel because I was looking for the Bretonnian Lord, and he doesn't even come out till he drops on the 16th. So that's going to be when the Solar Ox come out for pre-order.
I have seen some of the apothecaries in the wild, so those have been confirmed, shipped, and arrived at people. So everyone who got one, I hope you're happy with it, or them, I should say. They look like really good models. I'm really a fan of how well those guys are looking compared to the other current models right now.
I'm willing to bet there will be some on Wednesday night at Adepticon.
That's my hope. So I'm going to grab at least 1 or 2 packs myself.
I would hope that they're going to be at Adepticon since they're, releasing on the 16th, which is the week before, and they're already sold out online. Oh. Same with the Stormseer is sold out too. And we got the Solar Ox dice are coming out the same day.
Are we talking about what we're hoping is at Adepticon? Because I got a big hope for Adepticon.
Are we to that point yet?
Not yet. We got a little bit more to new releases.
Okay, I'll be quiet.
Okay, then we can do that.
I'll be quiet.
All right, so the other new releases we got, this one snuck by us. It's actually shipping next month. There's these Warhammer 40,000 3D foam bag clip models. They're blind package. They're each about 2 inches tall. There's a bunch of Primaris Marines or Sisters of Battle and stuff. They're just neat to put on your bag. I got a couple of the Cobra ones to put on my Cobra Militia bag, so that way I know it's my army case from across the room if someone starts to go in through it. It's just something neat you could pick up for like $5-6 or something like that for a blind pack model, and you open on a Marine, just give it a quick base coat and then put it on your case. Then we also got previewed from Jamie this week at Gamma Trade Show, which is a big trade show for all the game store owners. Ultra Pro has announced that they're going to be working with GW, and they said they're going to be having accessories for 24 different armies, as well as event-exclusive items and print-on-demand Battlefield playmats. Before everyone gets really excited, the Battlefield playmats have been rumored to be, or confirmed by them supposedly, that only available in kill team sizes. And so 2 kill team sizes makes a full table. And they've said that they're going to join somehow. My guess would be artwork goes from one to the next. And that way you could make a full 6x4 table out of that. And then we got kind of like mock-up designs of a folding dice tray. Everyone probably remembers the clicky dice tray that GW had for a while. And then there was also the really flat one that came out for Heresy Camp and a couple other events. This one is going to be done with magnets. Retail is going to be about $25. There's going to be dice bags. with the kind of a velvety exterior. GW's been doing these a lot at Warhammer World and a lot of the Warhammer cafes and things. It'll be nice to have kind of official dice bags at things. Everyone knows the Crown Royal bag, but it'll be nice to have just an Aquila or your Army logo on it. And then they've got other things that are coming up, like data card sheets, which we really can't use. If you want to print your own cards for your own units that are going to be in those same sizes, that'll be interesting. There's about 6 other things that are coming, but one of the things that really got to me was they call it a dice scroll. And it says it stores all of your gaming dice needs, unrolls to be a full terrain map. It looks like it's just going to be like a play mat, like a mouse pad, and then you just roll up the dice into it, and then they kind of fold into that. They kind of experimented with storage boxes for Magic the Gathering play mats with a dice tower in the top of it. Before, my guess is they kind of just stuck those two things together, and that's what this is going to be. And then there's also an alcove dice tower that holds dice, and then you can open it up, and it turns into a dice roller for you. So there's definitely some cool stuff coming for 2024 through GW and some of the ways that they're going to be putting out some of these things. Now, Jack, after everyone has said what they think about the what's coming, then you can talk about what you want to see next.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we'll go ahead and start that off. Jack, lead us into it.
What are we talking about again?
What
what I
we
want to see at
were hoping
DEFCON?
to see coming at DEFCON.
It's about yay big because people can see that in an audio podcast. About yay wide, has a lot of pages in it.
The camera's not on, so it doesn't help us.
Has rule. I know the camera's not on.
I think Jack wants a campaign book.
I want a book.
I think Jack wants Beta Garmin.
I can lick it and it tastes like paper. Like paper. Paper. I want those delicious Shattered Legion.
Sounds to me like Jack's taking us all to Meat Fest at Adepticon, and he's going to eat the receipt. That's what I'm hearing out of this.
Business trip, I like it.
I do miss that getting the books a little early. Even if it was just a couple weeks, that was kind of cool because you could like look at the book on your shelf and know like, oh yeah, I got that at Adepticon and stuff like that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll agree there. That was always something nice. I'm hoping, other than Beta Garmin. Well, actually, I don't want to step on Jack's toes here. Jack, was there anything else you're hoping to see at Adepticon?
Jamie, Dan, John.
Bama
Blake. Pretty, but he's not coming because he's a big stick in the mud. And Ned,
Yep.
Zach, Lucas.
So you're looking forward to seeing our friends?
Yes.
I got to hang out with all the Dallas guys this week. Lucas brought over a bunch of terrain yesterday, and I cooked up some burgers and pizzas, and we all had about 6 hours in the Texas sun working on terrain for Adepticon.
So you are bringing your tables like last year, or?
Lucas is bringing all the tables this year, and I'll just be bringing the militia and podcast accessories.
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, I will hold mine for last. John, what are you hoping to see at Adepticon this year?
I think seeing everybody is going to be really important. I would like to see an early book, but I think just being able to play games and being able to finally bring my Cobra militia out to an event that's I've taken it to smaller events and everything, and it's been really cool. But be able to kind of show it off at a larger event will be nice.
Jamie?
So, judging by the normal schedule stuff for GW, I'm going to go that we will not see the Beta Garment book in hand. It'll probably be June-ish, is what I'm going to guess. Like they tend to do for Heresy. That's when the other books have generally come out. I'm going to go, they're probably going to do a new roadmap, is what I'm at the Wednesday evening reveal thing. 40K is usually the big thing, obviously, but last year they did the Heresy roadmap and gave us some pretty good teasers of stuff coming up. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to one of our sponsors, Monument, possibly releasing some new paints, some much needed paints. And most of all, just seeing everybody in person, all our friends and everything like that. It's been a long year, and really looking forward to that the most, to be honest with you.
Dan?
Yeah, a roadmap would be really cool, but I'm mostly in the looking forward to seeing all my friends again, and seeing what people have done hobby wise and armies and all that good stuff, but mostly just seeing all my friends again.
Well, I guess that I'll toss over to Blake before I do mine. Blake, are you looking forward or hoping to see anything specific at Adepticon this year?
Well, come on, let's be real. I want to see one thing, because the freaking Iron Hands get one. I just want one. I just want one Raven Guard Praetor or special character. That's not gonna happen, but that's what I would really like.
If I were you, I would actually put money on you getting something like that next week on Thursday, or
Like
this
a
coming week on
shuriken or
Thursday.
something.
It's coming. I
You
know
think
it's
it's going to be
coming.
Raven Guard or Salamanders this coming week?
I'm leaning towards Raven Guard more than
Uh-huh.
anything else.
All right.
I'll be real happy if they do that. Maybe we'll get something cool. Maybe he'll be in plastic. Probably
No.
not.
That ain't going to happen. That ain't
I
gonna
know. I do want to see the command squad though. Like legit. I hope that they actually reveal that at the sneak. We'll see
That
what
would be
they
nice.
do.
That would be nice.
I was having shower thoughts this morning about it, and I was like, what would be just the biggest thing, and this would go totally for Duncan, is if they just completely just revamped Abaddon for the third time in Heresy, so he'd have like the 40k one, and then he's gonna have his old Isfan 3, and then we would get Abaddon.
Look, I've already got one who's metal and doesn't have any arms attached to him because I've
Yeah.
lost the arms somewhere over the years. So, thanks for cursing me on that.
I can send you one. No, and then last, I've really got to know you guys really well over the last, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months, since I really kind of became a part of this, just through Jamie and everything. So I really am excited to get to hang out with all you guys and see you in person and not just through Discord and everything, and have a beer with you. It's gonna be fun. But that's it for me. What are you looking forward to, Duncan?
All right, so here's the beginning for me. I'm looking forward to the possibility of not having Beta Garment in our hands, but having the actual release date for Beta Garment.
Yeah.
Yes, I, like everyone else, I'm also looking forward to the possibility of us getting a roadmap. That would be really nice, showing us what we're going to see for Heresy this year, and seeing it hopefully be expanded to include a lot more Praetors. If that happens, I will be the happiest Duncan that any of you have ever seen. I'm also hoping to see more continual releases leading up to Beta Garment and after Beta Garment with the various characters that we're going to see in the Beta Garment book, because apparently there's going to be several of them. I'm hoping that some of those will be special guys and some of them will be generic. I'm really expecting a preview, honestly, of either a Salamander or a Raven Guard that's coming Thursday for the Heresy Thursdays. And since we're not going to get a Heresy Thursday while we're at Adepticon, because they'll probably just show stuff that was previously at the sneak preview on Wednesday night, I'm looking forward to maybe getting a double dose this week. That'd be really cool. But I'm also kind of wondering if they're just going to sit there and hold off until next week. So who knows? But I'm also looking forward to seeing the Command Squad. I'm looking forward to seeing a Mark III Assault Squad, if we can get one of those.
The spoiler.
Yep, the spoilers. I'd like to see a Mark IV despoiler and tac squad as well. But the big thing that I'm looking forward to more than anything else is, and this is entirely hopeful, I'm hoping that we can get a new couple Primarchs announced for the year. I don't care which ones. I'd like to see a new Angron, because the old Angron is very spindly. He's one of the first ones that was ever done. He's spindly. He kind of not all that great modeling wise. The head.
He's definitely showing his age.
He is. He really, truly is. Especially when you stand him beside any of the latest released ones. I'm not talking the demons. Khan, Lion, Sanguinius, Horus
Ascended.
Yeah, when you put up against any of the modern ones, he really shows the scale creep that's gone on.
Oh, yeah.
I'd really like to see a new one.
He's probably, almost 10 years old.
He was one of the first two.
Like 2015?
No, he was before that.
24. Okay.
He came out right around the same time the book 1 dropped.
Okay.
Yeah, book 1 would have been 2012.
Yeah,
so, he's about 12 years old.
Yeah, so that is what I would like to see. I'm not even worried about a Demon Mortarion, although I think we'll also see possibility of a Demon Mortarion this year for Heresy. And I'd like for them to tell us the preview for the next exemplary battle novel or exemplary battle book that will probably include a Demon Mortarion or something to that effect, or an Ascended Angron. Either one of the two would be good with me.
Ascended Angron would be cool. That way they could say that they're going to go a little more into New Syria and things like that.
Yep.
Not just drive straight to Terra like they've been doing.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
I think a new Lorgar would be awesome too.
A bit more less static would be good for him.
Yeah.
But if they go through and resculpt all the Primarchs, if we see another Primarch or two this year announced, I think that will give us hope that we may get resculpts of all the Primarchs, which honestly a lot of them need at this point. Some of them don't. Sanguinius, I think, is a perfect sculpt for him. The Ascended Horus, I think, is a great sculpt for him, and the original Horus is a great sculpt for him. But some of them definitely need to be adjusted a little bit. I'd also like to see an Iron Warriors Praetor Warsmith official.
I would just like to see anything Iron Warrior. How about that? Or Raven Guard, or Salamander.
Or World Eater.
Or World Eater. Well,
I mean, we got Endrin Har, which I'm good with. We got Shadrach Medusan. Come on. Show me some love. Throw Shabran Dar out there.
Or Shuriken.
Or Shuriken. Or heck, whatever the Raven Guard, but the Salamander's character is. Show us some more love. Give us Galen Sarlacc. Heck, anything, please, for the love of goodness, GW. We're here. We love this. You keep liking it when we talk about it on Facebook. Go ahead and throw us a bone. But yeah, just more heresy. More heresy. And my final thing I'm hoping for is an official announcement of Scouring Book 1. Novel 1. If we see that, I will be the happiest I could be. Because, yeah, more books, more novels, more stuff for me to read. Because Heresy's my jam. Anybody else got anything? And all my friends.
Yeah, I see.
Y'all come after the Heresy stuff.
So you were talking about Mortarion and resin for Heresy. I'm okay with Mothman if they put an upgrade sprue for Mothman.
It would probably be another a not quite decayed Mothman. So like you would still have wings.
Yeah.
My bet would be that they're going to. What I would probably do with them is I would start making duels. I would start with the Khan Mortarion duel, and then that way you could have an Emperor model. Because you've already got Horus, and he looks like he's kind of walking downhill. You could make a base where it fits, and you could put a Sanguinius on that base, and then you could make an Emperor model.
Horus is covered. The base is covered in freaking skulls and bodies.
Yeah, but he's not. So that's what I'm saying. You just pop him off.
Man, that'd be kind of neat.
Yeah, you could do the same thing.
Magnus and is it Magnus and
Russ?
Russ on the duel. There's that duel base that was limited.
And Ferris and Fulgrim, they're dueling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But imagine if you do the Trader Primarchs as turned duels. That would be cool.
That would be cool.
I didn't do it with Fulgrim. I mean, we don't know. I mean, they could resculpt Dorn to be more energetic, but
I think Dorn is perfect as he is, honestly, even with that static pose. Just standing there as a bulwark, not moving, saying, "Come at me, bro." I think that's just perfect for Dorn. The only thing I think that needs to be done to that model is it needs a mustache.
A Van Dyke, maybe. How about that?
That could work. I mean, something like the artwork from If the Emperor Had a Text-to-Speech Device for his head would be perfect. I'd be happy with that. Anybody else got anything else that we or they are looking forward to?
I'd like to see some new terrain. Like, not necessarily from GW, but like from other people.
I'd like to see GW put those Heresy mats on sale at a somewhat reasonable price, not to where you can only buy it for $100 after dropping $1,000.
That won't happen. We both know it, but yes.
That would be nice, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's tons of mats, but I mean, like, those ones were pretty nice, and then they have the Heresy logo on them. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I want it. It's just the Heresy logo.
I would on the terrain front, I would like them to, because they're still using a lot of the Cities of Death and the Aquila building and things like that in their own terrain. So like a terrain builders pack with just walls and stuff that's stuck together would be great. I'll take out a lot of the overly sculled things and some of that stuff.
I could be cool with that.
John, didn't you get all the print-on-demand stuff, like, literally, like, this week, and you ordered it, like, last Adepticon?
It was close, yeah. It was October
when
I ordered it, which was, considering they take all the money up front, luckily I was still employed at the time, yeah, so I just got all that in literally this weekend, yesterday.
It's all plastic, right? It's not, like, resin. Right?
Yeah, it is all plastic. It was just a couple of the landing pads to finish off some things. I want to make the landing pad into a door for my Necromunda stuff. And then there was some other, some of the base packs that I needed to finish off the
So you got a Sky Shield landing pad?
Yeah.
Did it come with an armless Warhound Titan?
No. I have two Warhound... Yeah, I have two Warhound Titan feet that are smoking that I'm going to put on one of them.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. Well, if we have nothing else that we're looking forward to possibly seeing at Adepticon, I guess we'll go back to the somewhat focus that we were trying to talk about for community building. Blake, we have you on here specifically to talk about what's going on with your efforts to build a Heresy community down in Alabama. Now, from what I understand, you've been working on hosting events, setting up missions, running games, and you've been building the area around you into more of a Heresy-themed community. Why don't you tell us what you've been doing, how it's been working out, and what you're looking forward to doing in the future with that?
Yeah, so, let's start off with the challenges of creating a community for Heresy. And I've talked to Jamie a lot about this in the past. For me, the hardest thing at first was involvement. So, like, when the Age of Darkness box dropped 2 years ago, we had a ton of excitement for it, and everybody was like, oh, we're going to do Heresy now. We're all going to do Heresy now. And I was so thrilled because I've always wanted to play Heresy. And so I created a campaign across all of the different store systems, like stores in Birmingham. And, it was one of those things where there was a lot of initial interest and a lot of excitement, and then it started declining, and then it got to the point where people wouldn't even respond or anything like that. And I couldn't figure out what I'd done wrong. So I started asking a lot of people, and there's this first and foremost, when you go almost a year with only one troop choice of tactical Marines, it kind of threw a lot of people off. And then not everybody can afford Forge World or resin. Well, it goes back to what I've been trying to tell people in the past. Well, you don't have to have the Legion specific stuff. Yes, it's cool. You can always kit bash it, whatever. And then it got to the point where we were just getting tanks. And so I was trying to figure out what I could do. And I just started networking. So I've talked to people all over the country, all over the world, actually. I started out talking to Alex at LVO a couple years ago, just being like, hey, man, I just have some questions. These are some things I want to do. He gave me some really good pointers. He actually pointed me into an interview with Pete the Swede from the Vargarrison Heresy group. And I talked to him for like an hour and a half one day. He actually just talked to me, and we just had some really good conversation. And then as I started going to different venues and different events, like I met Lucas, and so like I started talking to Lucas about his excuse me, his successes. And then I went to ATC and I started talking to Mace Whitaker from Scenic City Heresy and asking him, hey man, what have you done to get like all these people here, and how have you been successful? And then it went to, well, we did this and we did this. So what they did is they hold like a monthly, excuse me.
No dying. No dying.
I'm not
live
dying.
on the cast.
Yeah, sorry. So what we did is we talked about what are you wanting to do? What do you want to accomplish? Are you wanting to tell a story? Are you wanting to do a campaign, like one-day events, or like an ongoing campaign book, or a monthly meetup, that sort of thing? And then how can you get people to be a part of that? And the way to do that is really with cash, because every time any of these guys did anything for free, nobody would show up for whatever reason. So whenever you put a price tag on it, people are going to show up to these events. So I went, as an example, on my first big thing, I had like 15 people a couple months ago who were going to come do a one-day event with me in Birmingham. And I was like, hey, it's free. This is just to show interest. We're trying to show you what Heresy's like. And I really want this to be more about seeing how fun Heresy is compared to 40K. Like, if you are tired of the competitive scene and you want to try something different, this is your chance to do that. And we'll have plenty of armies you can just kind of walk through. And I was just going to be an event organizer. I was only going to play if we had an odd number of people. I was just going to be the ringer. Well, by the end of it, there was 3 people from Montgomery, which was Paul, Ron, and Rustin, and then Chris Burgenson from Huntsville came down, and then it was me. And I was just kind of like, I guess we'll just do a frontline game mega battle. And I threw in a couple of things, and we did a 9K mega battle. And that was kind of like how we started this off. But in that, people did show up, and we actually had one dude buy an AAD box just from watching us play and seeing our beautiful miniatures. And then Chris and I got together, and we started talking about it. And I guess this is a good time to announce that we are actually going to have our first major event in Alabama. It's going to be a one-dayer. It's going to be June 1st at High Ground Hobbies in Madison, Alabama. And it's we start at 10 a.m. and it's going to be called the Scouring of Kairos Prime. It's a 2 4-round games at 3,000 points. But if you don't have that amount of points, we are also going to do a 1 ZM mega battle that you can bring 1,000 points to. And then that way you can participate. That's going to allow you to be inclusive to it. It is a $10 entry fee. And then we are going to also have painting as preferred, not required for this event. But let's talk about painting on top of that. So when you're growing a community, especially with a lot of these new people, some people they have a hard time painting. Well, when you're first starting out, yeah, painting preferred is okay. But as these same people start to come to the events, if they're putting money in, well, we want you to be more than just coming. We want you to be coming and investing in the hobby itself. So one of the things we'll eventually do is something like preferred enemy grade horde or preferred enemy like just primed. So yeah, you can still show up with just a primed army, but there's going to be consequences for you, right?
There's something that Lucas has done for that we're at the end of the event. If you consider your army done, you get to roll for some prize support that's different from everybody else.
Right. And so that's the thing. When you start putting price tags on things, people start thinking, oh, this is a tournament. So how do you keep it from becoming just an escalation league or even who's got the bigger arsenal? So a couple of things that some of the events that I've gone to do that I really like and I hopefully can include are not just I won all my games, right? So one that I really, really like that they did at LVO the last 2 years is how far out did your sniper with a strength of less than 7 kill a character? Okay, so if it's 72 inches, it's 72 inches. But if you have like an assassin that's 120 inch range, it kind of opens it up. Or even if it's 54 inches, just something different that opens things up for you. Another is that I really like that Alex recommended to me was secret missions. And Duncan, I've talked to you about the secret missions before. One of the things that it does is, you're always going to have those hard gamers that I have to win. Even if it's just Heresy and it's meant to be narrative, winning is their condition. And as soon as they stop like winning a match, they get completely defeated. So one of the things I've tried to do with this is actually implement these secondary, tertiary, secret missions that allow you to still participate in the campaign itself. So I have like 7 or 8 different missions that you can only use once. You can only use it once, but it gives you campaign points. So even if you lose and you get only 1 campaign point for losing, you get 3 for winning, 2 for tying. But if you lose and you're going to lose, you can start going for these secondary missions, right? And in doing so, it's kind of goes back to the shower thoughts I was talking about before with Abaddon. UAB, 40K and GW changed and retconned what Abaddon did because we've always known him as Felbadon the Armless for years and years and years. Well, then they retconned him. Oh, even though he lost these battles, he accomplished his goal. So I use that same mentality. Even if you're losing the battle, you have still done the things that you need to do in order to accomplish something. So it still goes towards the war effort. I feel like that's a very fair way to handle some of those things. Now, some people are just going to not want to do that because they have to win. And if they don't win, they get pissy. But not everybody. And it still keeps you included. So, and then along with inclusion, that's where the ZM comes in. Because not everybody can afford a 3,000 point army. And it takes a long time for some of these people to paint. Obviously, it can take us a year to get a 3,000 point list or more painted in some cases. It just depends on how much time you have. So by decreasing that to have like a Centurion or like 1,500, 2,000 or ZM 1,000 to 1,500 or up to 2,000, however you want to do it, you're also including these other individuals so that they can come up and play. And that's one of the things that I've been trying to do with Bama Heresy is broaden the scope for everybody to play. And while it is Bama Heresy, that doesn't mean you have to be in Alabama to play in any of our events or anything. It's just a place for people to come and be a part of. Like if you're from Tennessee or Mississippi or Georgia, Florida, anywhere that's close by, if you see something like that's one of our events, I would love for you guys to come to it. And even if you're just passing through, like if you're on a business trip to Birmingham for whatever reason, and you got your models and you're just painting them, you want to do a ZM battle, you can join our Facebook group to do that and just be like, hey, put a flare up. Somebody's going to eventually, be like, yes, that's what I want to do. From there, really, it all comes down to, getting that equilibrium, right? And with that all being said, when you go back to the money aspect of it, people are going to want to expect things because you're putting money in, you want to get something out. That's just human nature. So one of the things that I think, it's a very millennial way of thinking, but it's not like everyone gets a trophy. But one thing that I loved both Lucas and Alex have done is the NPC, or especially LVO, where you can 3D print a model and you include the model in the game. So even if you pop in $10, if I can 3D print like a saboteur, like what Alex did, and hand them out for people, and then that's at least getting something no matter what. And then the other part is explaining to people, hey, you are putting money into this, but this is also so we can have this venue. And it's not all about winning. It's not all about how bad we can just beat each other senseless. There is a story to tell. And there will be prize support, because prize support is part of the incentive to get people to show up. It's not going to be in the things that you might think it would be. So ATC did a really good job. They actually hands out little glass trophies that I really liked. I thought that was really cool. They did a best loyalist, they did a best trader, and they actually did one in memorandum of one of their local members who unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. But they did something really awesome. They actually made a model and made a trophy out of it, and basically it's when you are this Iron Warrior. It was like something to do with Iron Warriors. I don't remember all, because that was like a year and a half ago, so sorry about that. But Mace explained it like you are the pinnacle of what we expect for a Heresy player, and this is who this guy was. So I really like stuff like that. And even if it's just getting a picture and you make that trophy where it's something that you carry around with you, Lucas does a really good job with that as far as putting a name on a plaque. It makes it inclusive, but it also puts you in history. So it allows you to be part of this long term. And in doing so, I hope that like encourages more individuals to want to try out Heresy and play it. So I hope that makes sense, and at least increases some form of people wanting to be more in Heresy and play.
Okay. So I'm going to ask, how many people did you start off with coming to the events, or coming and hanging out and doing whatever?
Like 2-3 guys.
How many times have you done an actual event? Heresy, get together, etc., whatever you call it.
Like me personally hosting it?
Yeah.
So for Heresy, I haven't done that many. I used to do 40K stuff way back in the day, like 5th edition, 6th edition. So
no. Since you started working on this, how many events or meetups have you had?
So I would say like 5.
When you started, you said you had 2 to 3 people showing up.
Yeah.
How many did you have at the last one?
The last one for me was 6.
So you basically doubled your attendance.
Yes.
That's a start. That's a very good start. And are you seeing more enthusiasm from people who are seeing you all do it playing out in public?
Absolutely. So actually, a shout out to the Mobile guys. So there's this group called South Alabama Wargamers, and it's hosted by Chris Forsythe and Adam Rice, and they're out of Mobile. And I've just been networking with them in the last week, just talking to them, and they are extremely excited about what I offer, and have already, like, one of them is 100%. He's like, 100%, I'm coming to Huntsville, or Madison, excuse me. I'm coming to Madison to play in your event on June 1st. And then he has a group that's kind of like us. He's been building up, and they're all new players, so they're doing like a year-long Siege of Synthonia book like campaign.
Oh, cool.
And they're playing like mostly ZM, but they're growing to try and get to 2.5 to 3K lists and that sort of thing. And one of the things they did that I'm trying to build off of what they did is help and get more people in to Heresy, because while most of these guys play 40K, it's trying to pull some of those guys back to be like, look, it is really more about narrative. You don't have to just play cutthroat. So
Okay.
we're really hoping, we have 6 tables right now for the June 1st event. We're hoping to at least have 2 more, maybe 3 more when it's all said and done. It really just depends on what the sign up looks like towards the end. That's the goal though. And then the end goal, the real end goal for all of this for me is to eventually have a major event in Alabama, like to where it's a 2-day event where we have 50 plus guys wanting to play Heresy and do something really, really special with it. That is my ultimate goal. And yeah, 50 people right now feels like that's very aggressive, and that's very ambitious would be a word I would use. I do hope that
you have to start someplace. You have to start someplace, and you're not going to start at the top floor. So I know this because I've been involved with other like regional events before. It takes a lot of build up to get to that point, and you have to network a lot, especially like to get prize support, or like the big thing for us, okay, is terrain. I mean, like, terrain's expensive. I mean, you can print it, but like, not saying it's never happened before, because it has. We've had big events in like Memphis for 40K, and for like, mainly people here in Alabama and Mississippi and Tennessee and Western Tennessee, but like GW donated 200 boxes of like Cities of Death terrain to the event. That was their sponsorship for it.
That's awesome.
So like people built that, and we had tons and tons and tons and tons of tables available, but like it took 2 or 3 years to get to that point, where like you went from like a small event, at a bar or a game store to that, like where we had a convention hall in downtown Memphis on the river or whatever, and where they actually, it's same convention hall where they actually had games day in, I think, 2013. So John knows where that is. But like, yeah, you got to start someplace,
And Rome was not burned in a day.
Right. It was definitely not built in a day.
No, I said
well,
burned.
like, this is the long goal. That's the end goal eventually, like someday, is to hopefully get there. Like that is something I truly want to do.
And one of the biggest things I can recommend doing right now, at least here at the beginning kind of it, is like doing what you're doing, is networking. You got to meet people. You got to be outgoing and
put yourself first forward.
Right.
And present yourself hobby positive. Present just a positive role model for the Heresy and for the community. And doing that, putting yourself forward that way, I think is a big thing that helps bring people in. That's why I've been talking to a couple other people and trying to get more of these segments on the cast, so we can see what people are doing to bring stuff in, to bring people into the Heresy, to bring people into the Heresy community, and to help them branch out. That's why I've been working with a couple of people, and I'm going to start releasing balanced 1K lists for the various legions that are all intended to be a small force you can have, another small force you can have, so you can play pickup games with you supplying both sides of the stuff to say, hey, this is Heresy. Heresy is cool. Come play. I have 2 armies. We can play together.
Well, Duncan, it's so funny that you say that, because that is definitely something that I was working on even before last week's episode. And when you were talking about that, I was like screaming, like, yes, that's something that I do too.
We were trying to yesterday, we were trying to have several like 1,000 to 1,500 point games, but Nurgle visited. So
Yeah, unfortunately,
I actually opened up a new thread channel thing for community building in our Discord, and I've got only one category in it right now, but it's literally for the communal 1K lists.
Yeah.
And I'm literally gonna this week, when I don't have a lot of stuff to do for Adepticon prep, I'm gonna work on some 1K lists for each of the legions and stick them in there.
yeah, I'm totally down with that. You know, when John was talking about his first introduction to 40K many moons ago, I was like, my experience was not much different from that one. I had a bunch of a-holes who just basically bent my dick. Sorry, don't have any other word for it. On I was trying to learn how to play 40K, and I just got like hammered, and it wasn't even like fun. It was like this dude just wanted to roll dice and poop on me, and I was just kind of very disappointed in that experience, and I swore after that day I'd never treat anyone that way. So I've always been this individual who teaches people, and I really agree 100%. 1,000 points is a great starting point. 1,500, because you can do Centurion, and Centurion is so fun. Like, it is so much fun to play Centurion, and that is such a great way to get people into the hobby. I had like 5 games lined up for yesterday, and I was so upset that I was sick, and I just I couldn't even get out of bed on Friday. I was like, I was just really, really, really down about it. And I talked to all the guys, and I'm hopefully we'll get that soon. I don't think it'll be before Adepticon. If it is, that's great. That'd be like next weekend, but you know, that's pushing it so close with everything, you trying deadlines and whatever. But after that, we have months and months and months to really grow and build something for the summer. And with networking, one interesting thing, I've got like 3 guys from Alabama who are going to go to ATC, because I've been teaching them how to play, basically. Like, all the Montgomery guys, they know how to play, and they were learning when I first started getting like playing with them. And they're all like, a couple of them will text me every day and be like, "What do you think about this?" or "What do you think about this?" And I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome. Do it. If that's what you want to do it." Or, "I would probably steer away from that," or "I would do this." And it's just like you said, staying positive and being that upbeat, like trying to be steward of the hobby. And I just want you guys to know that like, I listened to the episodes, and last week's really hit home with me, because a lot of the challenges that many of you have faced, I'm right there with you. And it takes people like us, and I'm going to be a little like not whistleblower, toot my own horn on this, but sometimes you have to be that positive energy to really show people that it's not all negative or off kilt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you don't want to be
bring
overly
the positivity.
Yeah, and at the same time, you don't want to be inauthentic either. Like,
Yeah.
when people
Right.
come to you and say, like, "I'm thinking about building this list with 14 dreadnoughts in it," you'll be like, "Okay, well, so the game is a little broken right now. let's back it up a little bit."
I have definitely had to have that conversation with a couple of the newer players, and it's like, well, I will play you, but there are going to be a lot of people who are not going to have fun playing that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think that's one of the things that separates Heresy in some ways from a lot of the other tournament-esque or tournament-style games out there, is that generally the community is more concerned about everyone having fun in their games and their hobby. And if you are emphasizing that and the hobby aspects as opposed to emphasizing the tournament dick punch as much, I think it's a lot more positive, and it's a lot more inclusive for bringing people in.
I think one of the biggest things, at least for us here in Central Alabama and Northern Alabama, is that just playing, getting to play, because Not that our GW store isn't good. The guy that runs our GW store is actually a really awesome guy, and he's been very helpful to the Heresy guys. But I mean, it's GW, and he's going to basically push what's new. I mean, that's his business, you know. He actually stocks Heresy stuff, and he tries to help people out and point at least people that come in for Heresy to like other Heresy players, but he doesn't like necessarily have it in store to play, you know. Unless there's like a big set release, which, you know, if there's summer, there might be. I know he's into it, and he's also doing LI. That's what he's really into is LI, but just playing, and so that other people can see what's going on, like especially at the friendly local game stores.
Every game that I've played at both of our two big local stores, I always have a crowd. There's 2 or 3 guys that come because the way, like, even with their terrain, it's not like everything's donated, right? So most of the terrain at the first GG is the one near your house is all donated stuff from former players who have all gotten out of the hobby.
Right.
And you can still make some really amazing looking narrative based themes with their terrain. And every time I go there and set up and I play one of the local guys, there's always 2 or 3 guys that come up and they're like, hey, what's this? Hey, what's this?
Well, I mean, but that's the thing. Just getting in front of other people playing, like when stuff's going on. I mean, I have terrain, and I'm not far away from that. So, as you know, if you need anything, you're more than welcome to it. If you need it.
That's another thing that I'd like to throw out there. You know, you talk about terrain. One of the things that I think was big in the community 3 or 4 years ago, before COVID hit worldwide, and it was starting to take off here in the U.S., was what they call it, citizen soldier. So, but the premise is you have your army, and then you build up the table. And so, you know, some of the events where you talk about money in the game, what they were doing is that the fee was maybe $20, and you got $5 off if you brought a table to help make sure there were enough cool terrain tables for everyone to play on for events too. So that's another thing, right? You know, once you get your army, you know, maybe instead of the second army, maybe first you buy enough stuff, and there's a million options out there of how you can build a cool table. You know, maybe you build a table next, and then you're ready to jump in and start working on another army or whatever, expanding your army or something like that. So that's something too to think about, is that, you know, one of the things that sets our games apart usually at Adepticon, for example, is, you know, we typically have better terrain, theme terrain, etc. And, you know, that we make sure that happens. And, you know, either the event runners or, you know, somebody is putting all that terrain together at some point and making sure you got that all set up to go. And I know, you know, the FireX guys have put tons and tons of time into terrain, but when they do local events, that's the same terrain they're bringing out there. If they play in a garage, you know, some of them tables are the same tables, right? So, you know, that's another thing that's really big in that regard, is, you know, making sure that you've got terrain.
Awesome tables, awesome terrain, awesome looking armies. Those are all kind of part and parcel to advertising the Heresy and putting it out there.
That kind of leads into our next announcement, Mr. Duncan.
It kind of does, John. What kind of announcement would you be talking about there, sir?
Well, so we'd hoped to announce a little earlier, but obviously this year has sucked. So we're going to be doing it post-Adepticon. And so what we're going to be doing is we are going to be giving away a complete table setup. So a lot of our sponsors have been nice enough to come up post last Adepticon through Death Ray Designs and give us a bunch of terrain to paint. And so I will be painting a table's worth of wrecked buildings. These are kind of flat buildings, but I'm going to go all out. I'm going to have, there's going to be some Rebel, there's going to be some printed off posters and a bunch of other stuff just kind of stuck on the walls. Maybe we'll see some of the ones that Duncan's got designed for us and things like that, shrunk down onto a tiny scale. And those are all going to be completely painted and shipped out to whoever wins. along with a complete 6x4 fat mat. Or sorry, not fat mat from our friends at
Fat Matt.
At Fat Matt.
And to go with that, Dan. Oh no, did Dan go away?
Dan?
I'm here. I'm just not sure what.
I believe you have the objective markers that go with that, correct?
I have the mat.
Okay, you have the mat. One of us had a set of objective markers that was supposed to go with the table, the mat, and I don't remember who it is.
I think they're in my bag.
Ah, so there it is. There it is.
I was gonna say it sounds familiar, but it's not me.
Okay, so we're literally giving away a fully painted table's worth, full 6x4 table worth of fully painted terrain supplied primarily by Death Ray, painted by John on a fat mat with objective markers.
So,
All of this being done by us, by our sponsors, who are then giving away through us. Okay, that's pretty neat. What's the contest and how are we doing this? Does anyone have an idea?
So, we have, as you said, we have been real proponents of the Citizen Soldier, Dan. But honestly, that's kind of two steps. You putting the cart before the horse. If we're going to go with that metaphor, better than two steps ahead of what you're actually doing. I think we need a roughly half-page, 12-point double-spaced, quick couple paragraphs, fluff of what your army is and why it's doing it.
So, like, when you do a battle report at an event.
Yeah, this can be a battle report at an
That's
event.
like
This
what
can
we're
be
getting at.
my character that I came up with because X and Y. This can be any combination of how you want to do that. As long as you can come up with a couple paragraphs about why your army is and what it does, we want it and we will judge it.
And
Along
don't go ahead.
We're talking also with pictures of said army or
That
said
would-
character?
That would
I'm
be
pretty sure that if we have pictures and a write-up for the army or the character, that not being a special character in the game currently, but your own personal crafted dude or your own personal crafted army, I think that would be a long way into bringing forward the narrative aspect.
It will add to it, but we will not detract for your painting skills.
Yeah, we're not going to sit there and judge anyone on painting skills or dog anyone
Now,
on
when
painting skills.
we talk about what your army does, just to be clear, I'm pretty sure we're not looking at my army kills everything really fast, right? We're looking at this is the theme, this is the character, this is the battles they've been in. You know, we're looking at narrative. This is what my army does more than, you know.
This is the 802nd company of the Space Wolves. They are, or of the Sons of Horus. They are led by Praetor Bob. Praetor Bob took over after his brother, Praetor Bob II, died horribly at the hands of a space wolf on such and such planet. A narrative write-up.
Yeah, so for my militia, the start would be, early in the 80s, a launch mission went awry, and some settlers were thrown off onto the planet in the Ultramar sector of Cobra. They established a hierarchy around a man only known as the commander, and he ruled them with an iron fist until Gulliman showed up. And
So
then
what we're looking for then is fluff, narrative, unique. Something that's your creation, not something ripped from a book, not something ripped out of a current event or anything like that. Something that has not been seen before in the community, right?
Yep.
Now, that's not to knock anyone who's sitting there and coming up with, this is the selection company of world leaders, or the 8th company of world leaders, who were present at the Battle of New Syria. I have this guy because he was present at the book. I have this guy because he was present at the Battle of the Book. It's not to knock things like that, because that's how I personally come up with armies. But we're wanting something entirely new, entirely unique, and entirely based around your army, where you want it to be, what you want it to be doing.
And you can also build on it. So my Ultramarines really started as I wanted to do a tank army, and then I expanded it into, okay, well, in the books, they went when Calth was being screwed up, and they built that giant tank column and pushed on into the raids. Okay, what does that look like? How do I build that? And so I wrote, some head fluff that I never wrote down, but how that would work and how, why I took the tanks I took.
Okay. And how is this going to be judged, John? How are we deciding the winner?
How about we put it up to a vote in Discord?
Ooh, we could do that. Are we talking like a community vote in Discord or just a cast member vote in Discord?
Let's do a community vote, because we are a community-sponsored cast.
That sounds wonderful to me. So, starting, let's just call it the first weekend of April? Perfect. Running through the entire month of April?
Perfect.
Anyone going to our Discord that you can find at heresypodcast.com, find a link to our Discord, is welcome to come in, put an entry in what is called the contest channel, and tag any one of the hosts, and we will sit there and look at your entry judgingly.
Just remember,
not in a negative way, though.
Not in a mocking kind of way.
Just remember,
no mockery.
I don't know how to read. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, so you probably want to tag someone like John or myself or Jamie or John, because Jack, words hard.
Don't tag me. I can read. I just can't use Discord at all. It's like MySpace and of the social medias, and I am too old to figure out how the hell it works.
Did he say MySpace?
Okay, so tag John. He did say MySpace. So tag John, tag Duncan, tag Jamie. We will collate the list of everyone who has submitted. We'll prune it down.
Does your internet still scream at you?
I get the funky ka-chunk sounds when I log on. It's pretty cool.
Oh my lord!
Oh my god,
dude! My first home computer did not have a floppy drive at all. I had to record my programs on cassette tapes.
On cassette tapes, yes.
I know that sound from before I was connecting to the internet. So
yet again, we all discovered that Dan is old.
I think we've established that multiple times already.
Right. So, quick gist. It's not really a writing competition, but it's more a showing of your passion for your army, why the way it is, and how it the way it is.
So
do it as a detached document in the contest channel, and we'll give away a table's worth of terrain.
So grammar doesn't matter.
We would like it to be legible. That would be helpful. Because if we can't read it because it's all one sentence and strung together and confuses the absolute shit out of everyone who reads it, it's not going to work very well.
And don't pull that high school college stuff where you triple space everything and use like double spacing margins and all that kind of stuff trying to eat up room. Just like, fluff it out.
Show your passion for your army in this hobby.
I'm going to use Chat GP.
No. We will absolutely run it through a Chat GPT checker.
No abominable intelligence is allowed.
Yes. And it doesn't have to be just Marines. It doesn't have to be Solar Ox. It can be whatever army you have that you feel that passionate about, that you want to talk about it to people.
Yep.
And we will read the top 3 entries. So I will read personally the top 3 entries on the cast. And then the winner will be announced on the cast from the voting. And we will figure out a way to cover shipping and everything on it to get you, whoever the winner is, your full table for the time.
Continental United States, right?
Continental United States. Canada. If someone in Canada wins it, have a friend in New York hold on to it and get it for you and drive over there and pick it up.
Or have a mailbox on the U.S. side that, like, most Canadians already do that.
Yeah. People in Europe, if you were one of the people who wins, thanks. We'll try to figure that out. You'll probably have to cover shipping. Aussies, if you're listening, because I know that several of you do. If you win, yeah, we'll figure something out some way. It might not be possible, but we'll do our damnedest, we promise.
We may be launching something into space to try and come back down in Australia to make it work.
Yeah, we'll figure out some way to get you something. We don't know how it'll work yet, but we promise. Wherever you are, you're getting it.
What about our Eastern Europeans?
Yes,
Europeans.
Poland with our whole pile of Polish listeners, we'll get something to you somehow.
If you live in Antarctica and win, I will personally pay your shipping to get your stuff because that would be way freaking cool.
I'll go with it. I want to see the wall.
There we go. There we go.
Yes, we are all insane if you haven't figured that out yet. But then again, if you're listening at this point, you probably know that already.
Makes sense. Gentlemen, at this point, the only thing I think we really need to... yes, Jamie?
There's something else we have to talk about.
I was about to bring up the raffle.
Yes.
I'll let you do it.
So, as you know, we've been working on the Toys for Tots Army, and this year we decided to donate the proceeds to John to help pay for funeral expenses for his departed wife. And so, instead of doing an eBay auction, because eBay's become increasingly difficult to deal with, we're going to actually have a raffle this year at Adepticon. So, Lucas and his group are helping out as well with the Fireworks Gang are helping out with the raffle. And so what we have that's going to be up for raffle this year is the Word Bearers Army that we gathered and built, and Brian Byers painted up for us. It's a Serrated Sun primary drop pod Word Bearer list with Argyltal as the center for it, but it's got an additional... It basically has every named character that there is for the Word Bearers Army other than... I can't remember what they are called. The
Zardu Layak and the Blade Slaves.
Yeah, Zardu Layak and the Blade Slaves. But it is I think I added it up with not using all the weapons and add-ons and stuff, and it was way over 3,000 points. So... Yep.
And in case you haven't seen it, there's pictures of it in our Discord. There's pictures of it in our hobby channels, and there's pictures of it on our Facebook group page, and it's beautiful. It really, truly is.
Brian finished it all up. It's supposed to be shipped to me to bring up this week. Fingers crossed. In addition to the army, there's also going to be, I believe, a Warhound Titan, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Yep. There's a Warhound Titan that is being done by Ferrex, donated by the Ferrex guys who are doing that as part of the raffle as well. It's a separate prize, but it will be done through the raffle.
Yep.
Raffle tickets, I believe, are $5 a ticket, or 5 for 20. I think.
Yeah, I believe that's what we decided. Yeah, it's 5 for 20.
I think that's what it was. We also are bringing our posters up to Adepticon. We have posters of all our available art, and depending on how another bit of art goes right now that's currently in the works, we may have an additional super secret poster coming out with us at Adepticon. We will have hundreds of posters. Every Adepticon Heresy attendee will be able to pick up one free poster from us. Any other posters you want, they're $10 a pop. All the proceeds after the costs are going straight to John. Every single bit of it. We're taking care of our brother.
Thank you.
And we hope to see as many people at Adepticon as possible. We personally don't want to walk away with any posters left. We hope everyone gets something poster-wise and that everyone enjoys them.
And I know it seems kind of funny, but I know Duncan and I and Jack and Dan and John, we'll have powwow sessions trying to discuss new ideas for posters. So it really means a lot to us if you all like them and come and get posters, because that encourages us to keep doing more posters for you all.
Yeah, it really does encourage us to do more for you all, for the community, and everything else. We do still have shirts, t-shirts, and sweatshirts of various types with various artwork available that you can reach on, or you can get through our web shop. That you can link, that is linked from our website, heresypodcast.com. And at this point, I don't think I have anything else to pimp or prod at. Anybody else got anything at this moment?
I'm looking forward to seeing everybody in a week and a half.
Week and a half.
Is it really a week and a half?
It's really a week and a half.
Unfortunately, yeah, it really is. It's kind of getting really real at this point.
Are we planning to do any recorded listener bits while we're at Adepticon?
I was planning on it.
So was I. Strange.
As the Facebook general. Yeah, I'll allow it.
You'll allow it. Thank you, sir.
And I know Duncan and Jack are supposed to be at the podcaster thing on Wednesday night.
Yes. Yes.
You're making it sound like you're not going to be here, Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie
probably will not be there till late Wednesday night or Thursday morning.
Drive faster.
Yeah, same here.
I was kind of hoping I could be there.
You absolutely can.
And we do.
You absolutely can.
Unless Duncan and Jack don't want me. I mean,
no, we would love to have you there, Dan. We are apparently hobby positive influencers who are going to this event. So come on by to the event and meet us and hang out with us and tell us you heard us on the cast, or just make fun of us for being old, middle-aged, fat dudes. Who cares?
Duncan's giving out free hugs. Free hugs from Duncan.
I am giving out free hugs.
That's hugs with an H, right?
Yes, hugs with an H.
I heard with a T works as well, but maybe not.
I'm not giving out free tugs. No. We are not doing that. No. Come out and see us at the Adepticon. We'll be right there by the Ferrex guys in the Heresy room. Have stuff. Come hang out. Oh, and John, I believe we have pins that we'll be having at Adepticon as well. Is that right?
Absolutely. So yeah, Christina designed some really cool pins for us, and so they will be for sale for, I think, $8 a piece, and they will be at the table in the Heresy Hall.
Cool.
I think it's about 200, which obviously not everyone's going to be able to get one, so it's going to be kind of first come, first serve. I'm going to hold a couple back to give away with our raffles that we do this year, but other than that, they're all going to be there.
Are these the ones that you already sent us copies of?
Yep.
Okay.
They are really cool. They're about a marine and a half high, and they're two spike backs or whatever you want to call it, two pole or whatever.
They're awesome. I'm staring at mine right now.
I think mine's already on my sweat bag.
Yep, I think it probably is. Anyway, gentlemen, unless anyone else has anything else they would like to discuss at this moment, I think it's about time we called it a night. Anybody? Any objections?
I just wanted to say thank you again for letting me on. I really appreciate the opportunity.
We were glad to have you. We're very glad.
Where can everybody find you?
Can do to help. Yes,
Right.
where can we find you?
You can. So we have our Facebook group, which is just Bama Heresy on Facebook, and I'm the admin. So if you want to send me a private message, just be like, "Hey, I heard about you here. I'd like to join." You're in.
Nice. Well, make certain you throw a link up to that in the Discord, in the self-promotion channel. We'll be happy to have that there. And with nothing else going on, gentlemen, listeners, friends, it has been a pleasure having you all here for the 73rd episode of the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. I hope everybody stays accountable to their hobby, stays accountable to themselves and to their friends. And with that, I've been Duncan, and I've been joined by
Dan.
Jack?
Jamie.
John.
and our
And
special guest.
Blake.
Y'all have a good night.
Later.